Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where we review anything and everything. And today is the review for the free play RPG set of game books. And previously we did a preview video, but some of the books that were in front of you at the time were not fully up to date. These ones are. They are fully up to date. And so now we're going to dive into the review, and being how long the previous review was, this is going to be broken down into parts. But essentially, if it gets that long, but essentially what we're going to try to do in this video is really just review, since we already did the preview, but we're going to really just review the products here. Later on, we'll do a video of a walkthrough of the books, which is going to be similar to what I did for the preview before. But in this case, we're just going to review just to kind of give you a sense of why the system was created and what was the purpose behind it and whatnot. So the review will most likely be short, if I can keep it short. And then later on, I'll do a walkthrough, and that will be long. But essentially, I created this system, and the idea was to create a system that I'm going to put these on the side for a moment. Well, let me do a full spread so these can all be seen for a second, and just kind of go over each one real quick. This is the core book and the hero expansion, which has one expansion within this book, expansion 2. Hold that up so you can see that hero expansion. And then this is the deluxe edition, which is the hardcover, which actually incorporates both of those inside this one book. So essentially, what this was designed for, this system was designed for, was to pretty much, for anyone who's ever played tabletop RPGs and they felt that the game was some 200 something 300 page book, really big, you wanted to get your friends into it, but you barely even knew how to play yourself, let alone how to teach someone else how to play it. This was for that. This was for you to be able to get in, dive into this world, into this genre, and be able to say, not only can I master the game very well, but I can also get my friends to learn how to play it as well. And it's a very loose based system that was not going to be bogged down by a whole bunch of rules. It's a very simple based system for mainly attacking and a combat system. And beyond that, there was additional hero expansion, so you can kind of build into creating superheroes and expanding the world in that aspect. But for the most part, it's not bogged down by things like skills and all this other kind of stuff. Now, for somebody who trying to be neutral with the viewer, I'm going to tell you this: for somebody who's into those heavy rule type of games, this is not really the game system for you. And in that case, it's not going to be the system that you're going to probably find appealing, because if you like heavy rules and you want to have to roll to swim, you want to roll to determine if you can climb something, you want to roll to determine if you can jump, you want to roll to determine if you can walk down a hallway quietly, because you can't just say I want to walk down the hallway quietly. It's like, no, you got to roll for it. If you want those kind of game systems where you got to roll for everything, even how to breathe, then essentially this is not going to be for you. And there's nothing wrong with those systems, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who, one of the biggest problems in tabletop RPGs today, this is the number one problem, and regardless of what anybody says, this is the number one problem, and that is you have no one to play with. You can be super into it, you can have 100 books, you can have all the stuff, you can have miniatures, you can have all that other kind of stuff, you got no one to play with. And the reason why you got no one to play with is because people see the system and it seems overwhelming, and they're like, I don't want to play because I can't learn that. And the moment you open the book, start telling them, well, listen, like, we got to roll for this, you got to do that, it's going to take us like an hour to make our character, you're going to have to learn that if you attack me and then you try to run away and you miss, I'm going to be able to attack you. And it's like, what? Oh, you got to roll also to swim, to jump, this, that. People just go, I don't want to deal with none of that. So that's what the system was made for, and this system is good for that. So if you're looking for a light rule type of system, this is a good system for you. In addition to that, it is it's light in the rules, but it's also made for you to customize it. So if you want to go down the line, it's almost like a blank canvas. You have the ability to add stuff to the system and make it more heavy rule intensive as you go along, and in that case you can make your own thing. You get a binder, you get a loose leaf sheets of paper, you get whatever you want to do. You want to write on a computer, you can tack on extra rules to this system, as this is a base template for you to expand it to make it more complicated if you want. But that's the general basis about the game, and that's why it was created, for you to have that sense of being able to really invite other people in, be a master of your own system, and create your own world and expand on things. So in that aspect, I really think that this is a great game, and I'm not just saying that because I made it. I am saying that because of the big problem of why I even made it in the first place, is because people have no one else to play with, and this helps get other people into it. Covering over some of the basic rules, then you dive into like just the turn system. Let me go back to so you have introduction, getting started, just kind of introduces you to the concept of RPGs, tabletop RPGs, what that is, your basic game rules, a little section for your game master. Now you're ready. That gets you started, where you kind of can finish there. Then comes the hero expansion part, where it dives into explaining to you, introduction, what that means, some additional rules, getting started. Starts telling you about what you're going to be doing, creating hero characters, the basics on some basic rules that go hand in hand with this new kind of setup of having heroes. There's charts, the power system. You're going to essentially be given from the game master a set of points, and you're going to build into those characters. Power level glossary really kind of breaks down and describes what those things mean in terms of what each power level means and whatnot. And you could check inside the and either go back to the preview, or you could go into the walkthrough. I would say go through the walkthrough, because I'm gonna redo that in this with these updated books. But the walkthrough will kind of really describe, or just buy the book, and you can see what that really means. But it essentially breaks down power level of what those numbers mean in terms of real world stuff, as like an actual write up for that. So essentially, let me just go to it real quick and just brief through what that means, because the rest of the stuff makes sense, but this may not. So it will tell you, for example, if you have an energy stat, what that actually means. Class 3 enhanced human represents level discharge equal to small firearm. So it kind of breaks down what each of these kind of things mean in terms of what all these kind of super stats mean, rather than just giving you some generic numbers. And now you're ready to play, and that just gets you started on the first book, which is everything you need to get started to play with your friends and family and have a good time. Like I said, because it has that initial part before the hero expansion, which I just went over in the table of contents. You could start on just a regular game without heroes, just to get started and understand things, and then you jump into the hero expansion when you want to go to that realm and build large worlds. That's when we jump into the expansion 2 book, which pretty much dives into expanding for the game master. This is more so for the game master in terms of them creating their world now. It gives them something, a reference to kind of look at and really dive into things. Matter of fact, before I jump into that, let me just read the back of this real quick for this book. Let's see if it's focused. Get ready for one of the funnest games you will play, and it is all straight from your imagination. So gather your friends and get ready for an adventure of a lifetime. This book also contains a superhero expansion with vast details on creating any kind of hero you can think of, so you can turn your adventure into a super one. So that's the base of that, just getting you started with that. With this one right here, it says, welcome back to the world. Let's see, it's focused. Welcome back to the world of tabletop RPGs. This time, making your own world to play in is easier than it has ever been. Your games will be taken to a whole nother level of detail with this book, which is designed to take your adventures from awesome to epic. So this pretty much is for the game master to help develop his world before you guys get started. So in this expansion here, we go into the introduction, which is just pretty much welcoming you back to, the system. World building tells you about world building, what that means, and pretty much that's what the base of this book is for, is world building. But it also dives into things in that section of like creating a climate, post-apocalyptic future or the modern times, whatever it is you're going to dive into. Then you have weapons, and it breaks down into like some suggestion for modern weapons. And even though it's the main core book, gives you an understanding of what categories are for weapons and what damage level that is based on a certain dice that you're going to use. But And once again, just to kind of elaborate, I didn't really jump on that in the first covering the first book. These dice right here, which usually go hand in hand with most tabletop RPGs, is a set of 7 dice. And I would just suggest that you buy 2 sets of them just to make things easier. But that's what you're going to need for playing the game. So the weapons dives in. This section of the weapons dives into example weapons that were made up for the game in-game universe. They're not really real weapons. In terms of like a handgun will have a made-up name. If you are very versed in those kind of things, you can make up, real names, like, real names to real guns inside your, or weapons inside your world if you want. But that just kind of gives you a brief layout of some weapons that you could use. Power weapons goes into you building weapons similar to in the hero expansion, how you would have powers and built onto your character. You can also build up powers into weapons, and this shows you breakdown on how to do that. Hero archetypes, so you have an idea of what type of heroes that you can be. You can make your hero any kind of which way. They don't have to follow a specific archetype, but this helps you give an idea to streamline your character into like your typical kind of archetype, for lack of a better word, that you would normally see in movies or in comics or something of that sort. Then we have some house rules that are not required, but they kind of really help add some depth to the game. Like I said, this is pretty much an expansion more so for the game master. So these are kind of like when you're ready for these more upgraded rules, you can kind of get into it with this book. They do make things a little bit more complicated, a little more detailed, but they also make things a little more fun, give more stakes to your adventures. There's some game tips that help kind of resolve certain questions that you might have that may not have seemed very fleshed out, or might seem like a little hard to understand based on some rules, like overriding other rules. And then you're just pretty much ready to go, concluding on that. So yeah, this book right here is really just a tag along to the core book. So it's great. It actually really dives into, like I said, building world building. And this is actually a great book to buy, even if you're not into tabletop RPGs, or maybe you're into other systems. You just want to learn how to build your world. You know what I mean? It just kind of helps you get a scope of, what you want to have, some regular men to build up your world, how to go about building up your world and creating things, different types of settings, this and that. So sometimes it's just good information in general for you to know, or maybe you just want it for a nice read because it, has archetypes and kind of breaks down things and whatnot. So definitely, this is definitely a great book, and a great side piece to get into with the core book. So definitely check that out. Link will be inside the description as well for this book. And I'm not really gonna dive any more deeper into this one because this is both of those books combined. It's just simply as a hardcover version. If you want to purchase this because you want the hardcover version, it has both of them combined in one as the deluxe version. Pretty much the same back text for the most part. Get ready for one of the funnest games you will play, and it is all straight from your imagination. So gather your friends and get ready for an adventure of a lifetime. This book also contains a superhero expansion and second expansion with vast details on creating any kind of hero you can think of, so you can turn your adventure into a super one, and all the tools to bring your world to life. So pretty much it's just combining those ones. So if you just want to get the hardcover because some people like that, you can go with that, or you can go with the individual ones, or just start off with the core book to start, and then later on get the expansion. Both of these also come in a ebook format, so you can buy them also at Amazon. All these books can be purchased at Amazon. I don't know if I mentioned that in the beginning, but the link in the description will be to Amazon. You can purchase both of these in that form. This one, the hardcover, doesn't come in that form, so you can either get these all in paperbacks, or you can get these two inside an ebook form. And with that being said, I hope you guys purchase the book. I hope you guys are interested in it. I hope you guys decide to give it a chance. I hope you guys share it with your friends. And if maybe you come across this channel because you're on this channel for other reasons, and you know other people who are into tabletop RPGs, share this with them because maybe they want to check it out and it's something new for them to dive into. Maybe they could teach you how to run it after they read it, if you're not the type of guy or person who is really heavy into this but would love to be taught by someone who knows how to play. So check it out, you guys. Really kind of pass this around, and yeah, guys, try to have fun with it if you can. Link is in the description to go purchase it. And that's it. Catch you guys in the next video.